Good morning and welcome to this meeting of the Licensing Subcommittee at BCP Council. The first item on this morning's agenda is the election of chair. Can I receive nominations for chair? Councillor Hilliard.
Thank you. I nominate David Flagg.
Thank you, Councillor Hilliard.
Happy to second.
Thank you, Councillor Chapman-Law. Right. Firstly, can I ask the clerk to deal with the housekeeping measures? Michelle, thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Please note that this meeting is being recorded by the Council for live broadcast and will be published on the Council website for a minimum of 6 months. The meeting may also be recorded or streamed live for subsequent broadcast by members of the public, although ultimate discretion in this matter lies with the Chair in case of disruption. For those in the room, please note that if the fire alarm sounds, please exit the building by way of the nearest available signed fire exit route and make your way to the assembly point at the War Memorial in the gardens opposite the front of this building in Bourne Avenue. Finally, please can we ensure that background noise is kept to a minimum and mobile phones and other devices are turned off or switched to silent for the duration of the meeting. For those in the room, this includes turning off microphones and turning the volume down completely on your laptops. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 2 on this morning's agenda is apologies. Do we have any apologies?
Yes,
morning?
Chair. We've had apologies received from Councillor Emily Harman, and we have Councillor Chapman-Law filling her place as first reserve. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 3, declarations of interest. Members, do we have any declarations of interest with regard to the agenda items this morning?
None here, Chair.
Thank you. Item 4, protocol for public speaking at hearings. A protocol for public speaking at meetings of the Licensing Subcommittee is included with the agenda sheet for noting. Item 5, application for a review of the premises licence for Chicken and Beer, 5858A, Stanfield Road, Bournemouth. I will now ask each participant to introduce themselves and state their role. I'm Councillor David Flagg and I'm the elected chair of this morning's subcommittee meeting.
Councillor Chapman-Law, member of the subcommittee.
Councillor Paul Hilliard, member of subcommittee.
We also have with us this morning Councillor Keddy, who's a second reserve and will remain for training purposes and observations. We also have on the teams Councillor Canavan, who's also joined for training purposes. They will take no part in the deliberations at this hearing. BCP Council, please.
Good morning, I'm Linda Cole, I'm legal advisor to the subcommittee this morning.
Good morning, I'm Michelle Cutler and I'm the clerk for the Licensing Subcommittee.
Sarah Rogers, Principal Licensing Officer, BCP Council.
Tanya Jardine, Licensing Officer.
Thank you. For the applicant?
Gareth Gosling, I'm Sergeant with Dorset Police Alcohol Licensing.
And for the premises?
Roy Francis, Licence Owner.
Thank you. Before I run through the procedure, please may I just check that all persons who have given notice of their intention to speak have been identified, and any person who wishes to withdraw a representation or wishes not to speak has been identified. If there are no comments, I will take this as correct. I will now explain the proposed procedure and order of speaking for the hearing as follows. The licensing officer presents the report. Questions of the licensing officer by all parties, members of the subcommittee to go first. The applicant will make their application. Questions of the applicant by all parties, members of the subcommittee to go first. Persons representing the premises will make their representations. Questions of the persons representing the premises by all parties, members of the subcommittee to go first. All parties will be given an opportunity to sum up, with the party who spoke last to go first. The hearing will then conclude. The subcommittee will deliberate in private with the legal advisor and clerk present. Notification of the subcommittee's decision will be given within the period of 5 working days, beginning with the day or the last day on which the hearing was held. The notification of decision will include information about the right of appeal as appropriate. I will now ask all parties to confirm agreement on the proposed procedure or make representations. Sergeant Goslin?
In full agreement, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Francis?
Yes, that's fine.
Thank you. Sarah Rogers
Yes, thank you.
and Linda Cole.
Yes, thank you, Chair.
Please may I remind all parties speaking not to repeat the information which they have already given in writing, but to expand on their written representations. All questions are to be asked through the chair, and there will be no cross-examination of parties. I will now ask the licensing officer to present the report. Sarah.
Thank you. Dorset Police have submitted an application to review the premises licence under Section 51 of the Licensing Act 2003. The premises in question are located in the Wallisdown and Winton West ward of BCP Council, an area known for its higher than average student population. The location is near Wimborne Road, a busy thoroughfare in Winton that features a mix of licensed venues and retail businesses. The review was prompted by a visit from HM Immigration Enforcement on the 14th of February 25. Under the Licensing Act 2003, the Home Office, on behalf of the Secretary of State, has the authority to enter licensed premises if there is reasonable suspicion that an offence under the Immigration Acts is being committed in connection with licensable activities. As a designated responsible authority under the Act, Home Office Immigration Enforcement submitted a representation in support of Dorset Police's application, which is attached at Appendix 3. No other responsible authorities or members of the public have submitted representations in support of the review. The current licence permits the sale of alcohol for consumption on and off the premises from 7 AM to 11 PM daily. Dorset Police have also submitted supplementary evidence suggesting the premises are licensed for late night refreshment. However, this is incorrect. The premises do not operate beyond 11 PM and therefore do not require such a licence. Therefore, members are reminded that the review concerns the provision of alcohol only. Applications to transfer the licence and change the designated premises supervisor were submitted on the 15th of April 25. However, payment for these applications was not received. As a result, the applications have not been processed and therefore an updated licence has not been issued to reflect this. Members are reminded that any powers they exercise must be appropriate and proportionate, aimed at promoting the licensing objectives and specifically directed at the concerns identified within the application. Once those concerns have been clearly established during this hearing. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Do members have any questions for the officer at all?
No, Chair. No, Chair.
Thank you. Any questions of the licensing officer at all? Sergeant Gosling.
Only to confirm, Chair, exactly what Sarah said. There is an error in our paperwork, and it mentions on my page 3 of the supplementary that it's late night refreshment, whereas that is supposed to reflect alcohol.
Thank you. Thank you, Sergeant. Mr. Francis, do you have any questions of the licensing officer at this point in time?
With regard to the payment by the new applicant, I believe that payment was made, but I can confirm with my licensing agent.
I believe we haven't received it. I checked yesterday and that no payment's been made. So the applications have been received, but because payment hasn't been made, they're not able to process them.
Okay, thank you for that. Right, can we move on then to the applicant? Sergeant Gosling, would you like to address the committee, please?
Yes, good morning, Chair. Thank you for this opportunity. This relates to This hearing today relates to chicken and beer on Stanfield Road that, as has already been highlighted by Sarah, was subject to a visit by HM Immigration. They identified offences that I won't go through further because, as you've stated, this is an opportunity to elaborate on the evidence, and they have comprehensively detailed their concerns within their submission as well. We pride ourselves on the work that we do with different partner agencies, including immigration enforcement, and this is not the first such review that's been generated by Dorset Police in, if you like, collaboration with immigration enforcement. The others took place in the Dorset Council area. One thing I would like to highlight is that immigration offences can be hugely damaging to our communities, and the impact is felt far and wide, not just within the business community, but within the wider community as well. There's a social and economic impact which is highlighted within the Section 182 guidance as being particularly severe and warranting significant fines that are generated separate to the Licensing Act regime, but it also generates or can generate enforcement as well through the Licensing Act, which is why we find ourselves here today. I would only be serving to repeat what I've got written down here. I've tried to be as comprehensive as possible within the reports. We do remain unclear as to who is operating the premises, but I'm hoping that that will become a bit more apparent when we speak to Mr. Francis, or you, Mr. Francis, can address the committee shortly. But the one thing I would add is that we haven't received any form of representation from Mr. Francis, and therefore I would ask you to approach any new evidence that's produced from Mr. Francis today with caution, because we've not had the opportunity to scrutinise that and to consider it in advance of today's hearing. So I think at that point I will stop and invite any questions, Chair.
Thank you, Sergeant. Members have any questions for Sergeant? Councillor Hilliard.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Sergeant Gosling. It just obviously, it does sound a serious offence, illegal immigrants employing illegal immigrants. Do the police not have any powers? It is just on the licensing.
Yes, there are. I mean, immigration is factored into a variety of different areas of legislation. It is led by immigration enforcement, who deliver the primary investigation into these. They have the access to the records, and records that in fact the police don't have. So they, if you like, take the lead on this type of matter. However, as you can well appreciate, there are limits to what they can do. They are a finite resource, as are the police, and that's why we pride ourselves on working with them and other agencies to make sure that various arms of the legislative framework are supported and that various things are brought to light as is required.
Okay, and again, it might not be for Sergeant Gosling, it might go back to Miss Rogers, but the identification of someone with TB, again, environmental health, do they not have any stronger powers? I don't know who that is for. Thank you.
I think Sarah might have something to say on this as well, but I think the one concern that we've got and the difficulty that we have is that whilst we do have the 4 licensing objectives that we are all acutely aware of, the 5th one that has long been contested as being missing is that of public health. Now, that isn't in place, and I think if it was in place, it would perhaps be a bit more relevant now. Arguably, is there a safety issue with regards to employing somebody with TB? I think it's perhaps a bit of a stretch, and I wonder if, you know, I understand that immigration have highlighted it as a serious concern, but I think within the licensing regime, Sarah will correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's probably a stretch to do any more than try and address it. But hopefully it wouldn't be something that you would take into consideration, because of course we are the only representation today.
Okay, and just the last one, obviously the visit was on the 14th of February, and then it sounds from the document that a lot of the discussions were with immigration over a telephone with Mr. Francis. Did you, how do you work with immigration, and did you have subsequent visits and catch-ups? Thank you.
So the only thing that's happened of any significance subsequently was following receipt of the application to transfer, because we received the paperwork, but I understand what Sarah's saying in relation to it hadn't been processed because of the fee. But we received the paperwork, and we actually conducted a visit to the premises, and we were told that Mr. Francis, by a member of staff that was there, we were told that we had narrowly missed speaking to the boss, and that boss had been identified as Mr. Francis, who was still in control at that time of the visit.
Okay, thank you for that. Thanks.
Councillor Chapman-Law?
I need to say thank you for a very, very comprehensive document, not leaving us much to ask really. And honestly, reading through it, it's pretty scary what's been going on there, and the fact that Mr. Francis appears to have known everything. It's not like he was oblivious to what was going on. He seemed to be complicit in what was happening.
Just two questions.
Sorry.
Just questions at the moment.
Thank you, Councillor Chapman-Law. Sergeant, I have one question. I was trying to I recall reading a small sentence or paragraph with regards to the designated premises holder, where you wish to expand on it. Did you do that earlier on, or would you be happy just to expand for the even further for members of the committee?
No, I think not at this time. I think understanding how the business is intended to. We haven't received any form of representation. There are still a number of options available. Obviously, for Mr. Francis to invite the subcommittee to consider, including transferring the business, which I understand is the intent. In effect, we've received the application. So there may be some questions around that that we need to discuss.
Super. Thanks very much, Sergeant.
I apologise, I didn't have my.
I know the feeling. Mr. Francis, did you have any questions for the officer at all? Sergeant Gosling?
No. No.
Thank you very much. Did officers have any questions for Sergeant Gosling at all? No, thank you.
Can I just ask?
Yes, please.
It's just referring back to what you were saying. It's more the enforcement powers of the immigration service. So those powers are with them, not the police. I think it's more in reference to what Councillor Hilliard was speaking to you, because there's reference in the papers that they've agreed a Home Office civil penalty. So I'm guessing that's an alternative to prosecution if that's what they had chosen to do. It's just one of the enforcement powers that sits with them, is it? Rather than it in offences that the police would be dealing with.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the CPS, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So there are, I think, the immigration offences are led by immigration.
Yeah.
It's for them to enforce that, and it includes options around civil penalties,
Yeah.
as there would be for crime matters that the police deal with. That there are other options, but they sit outside of licensing and are concerned with purely around that immigration element of it, and the rights, checking the rights to work, etc. Yeah,
So, it's Councillor Hilliard. I would assume then, in the same way that like local authorities have got enforcement powers for certain offences, these ones seem to sit with, which would be why the police and wouldn't be dealing with them through the CPS and doing the investigations. Yeah.
The only thing I would add to that as well is, of course, as everybody would be aware, is that there is the opportunity if the licence is removed today as one of the options available to you, there is still that ability to continue with the takeaway element up until 11 o'clock in the afternoon. So it wouldn't be a case of us closing the business down. It's pure. This is being brought to your attention purely on the basis of that license, which is considered a privilege to hold, and must be held and delivered lawfully. And the concerns that we've got that that's not being delivered currently.
Thank you, Sergeant. Right, if there are no further questions, I'd like to call on Mr. Francis to address the committee with your representations, please.
Good morning, Chair and members of the Licensing Committee. My name is Roy Francis, and I'm the premises license holder for 58 Stanfield Road, Bournemouth. I appreciate the opportunity to speak at this hearing regarding the interview of the alcohol license, which is based on an incident involving the employment of individuals without the legal right to work in the UK. I would like to clarify that I was previously the director of Chicken and Beer Limited, but stepped down from that role due to a combination of ongoing financial burdens and family difficulties and responsibilities relating to childcare arrangements.
Mr. Francis, sorry to interrupt. Would you be able to just slide the microphone in front of you for us, please? Just that's it. Lovely. Thank you very much.
And at the time of the incident, I was employed at the premises in a non-managerial capacity with no involvement in recruiting, compliance, or operational decisions. All such matters were handled by Sylvester Francis, who was the active director during that time. Following my resignation as director back in December 2024, I remained employed at the premises solely to assist with matters relating to the premises license, while the new director worked towards obtaining his personal license. This was done to ensure continuity and compliance with licensing regulations during the transitional period. While I had no involvement in the breach itself, I fully accept that as a personal license holder, I have a duty to ensure proper oversight. The only mistake I acknowledge on my part was failing to formally transfer the premises license to the company name once I stepped back from active management. This administrative oversight contributed to a lack of clarity around who was responsible at the time of the offence. As soon as I became aware of the legal employment issue, I acted promptly. I ended the operational arrangement with Chicken and Beer Limited and arranged for the lease to be taken over by a new unrelated company, Cloud Brands Limited, which assumed responsibility for the premises from 2nd of April 2025. Cloud Brands Limited, led by Manpreet Kaur, has no connection to the former business and is fully committed to legal compliance and responsible management. Cloud Brands Limited has applied for a new premises license, I believe, and I fully support their application. They are committed to meeting all licensing objectives, and I believe the premises will be in safe and capable hands under their management. I'm fully prepared to support the transfer or the surrender of my current license to allow the application to proceed without conflict. I respectfully ask the committee to consider my limited role at the time of the incident, my willingness to cooperate, the corrective steps I've taken, and the clear path forward that has now been established. And also I have a bit of paperwork to support what I have said. If the committee wants to have a look at it, I can provide them. Thank you for your time and cooperation.
Thank you, Mr. Francis. Member, do you have any questions at all?
Yeah. Just on this new premises license that you have, can you just give us some more details on that, please? Because I saw some head shaking on either side of the desk. Could we get some clarification on that, please?
Can I help? I think it's difficult if you're not used to the terminology. It's a transfer application. So it's not a new licence application, a transfer has been made, that's all.
So in Chicken and Beer now, it's completely different management that are involved. Everyone's getting paid at least the national minimum wage, and everyone is legal legal to work in the UK. Is that what you're saying?
Presently, it's Cloud Brands Limited who is managing the business. So I believe they have everything in order. And I have a letter from the new company director with the supporting lease document here, which says we Cloud Brands Limited confirm that we officially took over the lease of the premises located at 58 Stanfield Road as of 2nd of April 2025.
Thank you, Mr. Francis. I just want the clarification from the officer. Sarah, can you confirm? So the application you referred to earlier that you've not received, the council have not received, is the application to transfer.
We have received it, so the paperwork's come in with the consent from the current licence holder to transfer, with also a change of DPS application. What was missing was the payment. So support officers have chased payment, not received payment, so we can't grant and issue the licence with the new licence holder in DPS until payment has been made. So it's kind of sitting in abeyance.
Thank you very much for that clarification. Any further questions? Councillor Hilliard.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Francis, so obviously the police said that you hadn't engaged with them since their visit in February. The change of ownership was in April. Why didn't you engage in February and March?
Because I still hold the premises license and I'm still as an employee at Chicken and Beer Limited. So I am there because we have alcohol for sale and there is no other DPS. So until all the paperwork's come through, I have to be present at the building.
Yeah, it's just really just asking, obviously the police had tried to get information from you about the incident and why you hadn't told them about your plans to terminate the lease, transfer the license holder. It's just really why you just didn't engage with the police at all.
Even though I was at the premises, I didn't get the opportunity to meet them. Sometimes I'm in and out. Maybe when they came, I wasn't there.
And just with regards to the Cloud brand, so you're terminating the lease in your name and your family name, is that correct as well? So no members, you or your family will be involved in Chicken and Beer going forward?
No.
And
you
won't be employed there?
As soon as the incident happened back in February, I got the deed of surrender for Chicken and Beer Limited. So I had to actively do something about this. And now, as of 2nd of April, the new management took over. There is no family involved.
And you don't work there at all?
I'm still there until the paperwork is come through because of the alcohol license is still under my name. And I can't leave the premises unless I remove all the alcohol from the premises or tell the new management. Well, the new management have told me that they have applied and they are waiting for a decision. So I have two choices. Either I leave, but I make sure I remove all the alcohol off the premises so there is no sale of alcohol taking place without me being there, because I'm still responsible for the DPS.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions?
No.
Sergeant Gosling, did you have any questions at all for Mr. Francis?
Yes, a couple. Mr. Francis, I wonder if you could just, you mentioned in your original submission that you were simply employed to assist with the licensing. You weren't responsible for the recruitment and that you had no involvement in the breach. But at the time of the offence taking place, it was being operated by Chicken and Beer Limited. Is that correct?
Yes, it was correct. And I was an employee of Chicken and Beer Limited.
And who were the directors of Chicken and Beer Limited?
Sylvester.
Okay, and yourself?
I was an employee.
But were you a director of Chicken and Beer Limited?
Like I said in my opening statement, yes, I stepped down from directorship back in December 2024. I have the company's house records I can show you.
Okay. And you've mentioned that Cloud Brands Limited has no connection to you. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Apologies, Chair. I feel like I'm cross-examining, and I know that's not allowed. So I'll try and make it more succinct and put it to yourself. So no connection with Cloud Brands. Perhaps, Chair, Mr. Francis could tell us who is responsible, who is the director of Cloud Brands Limited.
Director's name is Manpreet Kaur. I have the lease document if you would like to see it.
And is Manpreet Kaur any relation to you?
No.
Okay. I have a record of a crime that occurred relating to a vehicle on the 24th of February 2023, where the person reporting was Mr. Roy Francis and the victim was Manpreet Kaur. It related to theft of a vehicle, and the victim was described as the informant's wife. Could Mr. Francis explain whether or not this is the same Manpreet Kaur?
No, I'm divorced at the moment. I'm going through divorce proceedings. I have paperwork to prove.
So have you ever been married to Manpreet Kaur?
No.
Okay, I've got nothing else then, Chair.
Thanks, Sergeant. Are there any further questions at all? No. Did officers have any further questions for the premises?
I've got one.
Linda, thank you.
Could you just explain why the new owners of the business are not here today? Or if they made the application you've made the application to transfer the premises license and for Manpreet Kaur to be the new DPS, is that right? Yeah, I'm just surprised they're not here. No, do you?
I have a letter from the new management
Yeah.
here, which I can read out with the.
No, I'm sorry, Mr. Francis. At this stage, it's not in order for you to present further evidence at this stage.
I wasn't sure that I
parties
was meant
happy
to
with
bring
that?
them.
That's my view.
I mean, Chair, there is, as you are aware of our position from the supplementary. If it would assist your understanding of the intent for Mr. Francis to transfer, then I don't think it would it would hurt for you to have sight of that, to understand it. But I completely agree with Linda that it's very much, there's no opportunity to scrutinise the content of that paper, to validate it in any way, because it could be written by anybody. I think it would have been beneficial to have had the person alongside that piece of paper, and perhaps for Manpreet Kaur to explain her relationship with Mr. Francis.
Yes, I agree, Sergeant. So if there are no further questions, Councillor Chapman, Lord.
So obviously there's a sort of a nest of businesses going on around here. Can you tell me about your relationship with the other directors at Freshers Delivery Limited, please?
Freshers Delivery is the off license where I have held the premises license for over 10 years without any issues.
So are you working there now?
Yes, I am. I'm the premises license holder at that premises. And I've had no issues so far over 10 years.
Okay, and who's the other director at that? Who's the director at that company?
Currently, Manpreet Kaur is taking over that premises as well.
Okay, thank you.
This must be. This is the current.
Sylvester,
Yeah.
which Mr. Francis already mentioned.
So he's the
Sylvester.
director. Yeah. May I clarify who he is?
Yeah. Mr. Francis, can you just confirm who Sylvester Francis is? It related to you?
Yes, he is related to me. He was my elder brother.
Okay.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. If members have no further questions, I think we're maybe at the point where we can ask Sergeant Goslin if he wishes to. Oh, sorry, if Mr. Francis, would you like to sum up? Is there anything else that you'd like to bring to the committee's attention with regards to your representation this morning? Something you may have forgotten or whatever?
No, that's all.
No. Okay, thank you very much for that. Sergeant Gosling, is there anything further you'd like to add to your representation this morning?
Yes, Chair, if you wouldn't mind, I'd just like to briefly, very, very briefly highlight to you the available options that you have following today's hearing. They have been sort of listed by Sarah as well. So the first option that you have available to you is to take no action, and it's the view of Dorset Police and HM Immigration Enforcement that this matter is so serious that taking no action should not be a determination by this committee today. You have the option to exclude licensable activities, and as has been highlighted, there is only one licensable activity here, and that is in relation to the sale by retail of alcohol. So effectively removing that would, if you like, remove the licence. There is the option to modify and add conditions to the licence. That's something that we always look at carefully. We draw upon a vast pool of conditions and look at options that might be incorporated to a licence to assist the licence holder to deliver licensable activities in a compliant and safe way. It's our view that there are no conditions that could possibly be added at this stage to deal with this type of matter. Suspension of the licence is often appropriate if you are looking to deliver some meaningful changes that might be able to tackle the root cause of a problem. But there is, in our view, no benefit to be had from that. You'll note that we've had very limited progress during the consultation period leading up to this hearing. There has been this application to change the licence holder, but Dorset Police remain very concerned that there is an extremely close link there, which I'll discuss more in a minute. So we don't think that suspending a licence would be appropriate. When it comes to the revocation of a licence, it should be the option of last resort. We find ourselves in a position where clearly Mr. Francis is undertaking some change within the business. However, it is our concern that this change is intended to mask essentially nothing. We believe that these changes that are being proposed and changes in directorships of the different companies that operate this business and a neighbouring business that I know has come up as well, is all intended to demonstrate that there is distance between Mr. Francis and this business. I would ask you to be super focused on simply addressing the fact that we have a licence holder here who has been complicit in what is considered to be extremely serious by immigration enforcement. There are limited options around. There are options to change the DPS, but it fundamentally comes down to who is in control of this business, and that would also not be appropriate. Coming back to that question that I asked Mr. Francis earlier, the response took me by surprise, because on the 24th of February, I was hoping that it would not be something that needed to come up today. But on the 24th of February, there was a report to Dorset Police from Mr. Francis that his wife's vehicle had been stolen. That person was Manpreet Kaur, and the date of birth matches that of the person who is the director of Cloud Brands Limited. So that should hopefully give you enough clarity to understand that any transfer of this license, and the transfer of the license, remember, is not within your gift today. Transferring the license is not something that you're able to do. So our view is that the options are that limited that the revocation of the license, in line with the guidance, the statutory guidance issued by the Home Office, is your only realistic option in this case. That would be what we would put forward, but it is of course for you to determine once this hearing is concluded. Thank you.
Thank you, Sergeant Gosling. The hearing will now conclude. The subcommittee will deliberate in private with the legal advisor and the clerk present. Notification of the subcommittee's decision will be given within the period of 5 working days, beginning with the day or the last day on which the hearing was held. The notification of decision will include information about the right of appeal as appropriate. And I would now ask the legal advisor just to run through the
So there will be a right of appeal to the decision that will be made today. That appeal should be made to Dorset Magistrates Court. The address of the court and the time limits, which is 21 days from notification, will all be set out in the decision letter that will be sent to you. I think they will email it. You've got all the email address, so it'll be sent swiftly by email to you.
Thank you, Linda. And that concludes this part of the agenda. Thank you for your attendance. Thank you, Mr. Francis.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sergeant Gosling.
Chair, are you happy to take an adjournment in between cases?
Yes, please. Welcome back. Item 6 on this morning's agenda, application to vary premises licence for Harry Ramsden, East Beach, Bournemouth. I will now ask each participant to introduce themselves and state their role. I'm Councillor David Flagg. I'm the elected chair for this morning's subcommittee meeting.
Councillor Chapman-Law, member of the subcommittee.
Councillor Paul Hilliard, member of subcommittee.
And we're also joined this morning by Councillor Keddy, who is the reserve member. Councillor Keddy is not required to participate in this agenda item, but he's remaining for observing and training purposes. BCP Council, please.
Good morning, I'm Linda Cole, the legal advisor to the subcommittee.
Good morning, I'm Michelle Cutler and I'm the clerk to the subcommittee.
Sarah Rogers, licensing officer, just observing this one, thank you.
Tanya Jardine, licensing officer.
Mohammed Sheikh from Harry Ramsden, Bournemouth. Mohammed Sheikh from Harry Ramsden, Bournemouth.
Jason Waggett from Deep Blue and Harry Ramsden operations.
Thank you very much. And I understand that we have none of the objectors attending this morning. So, before I run through the procedure, please may I check that all persons who have been given notice of their intention to speak have been identified, and any person who wishes to withdraw a representation or wishes not to speak has been identified. If there are no comments, I will take this as correct. I will now explain the proposed procedure and order of speaking for the hearing as follows. The licensing officer presents the report. Questions of the licensing officer by all parties, members of the subcommittee to go first. The applicant will make their application. Questions of the applicant by all parties, members of the subcommittee to go first. As there are no objectors with us this morning, clearly we will take into consideration the written representations from the objectors. All parties will be given an opportunity to sum up, with the party who spoke last to go first. The hearing will then conclude. The subcommittee will deliberate in private with the legal advisor and clerk present. Notification of the subcommittee's decision will be given within the period of 5 working days, beginning with the day or the last day on which the hearing was held. The notification of decision will include information about the right of appeal as appropriate. I will now ask all parties to confirm agreement on the proposed procedure or make representations. Jason Waggett?
Yep, that's fine.
Mohammed?
Yep, that's fine.
Thank you. Tanya? Linda?
Yes, Chair, thank you.
Please may I remind all parties speaking not to repeat the information which they have already given in writing, but to expand on their written representations. All questions are to be asked through the chair and there will be no cross-examination. I will now ask the licensing officer to present the report. Tanya.
Thank you, Chair. The Deep Blue Restaurants Limited has submitted an application to vary the premises licence for Harry Ramsden at East Beach in Bournemouth. The current licence permits live music, recorded music and late night refreshment indoors only, and the supply of alcohol on the premises only. These activities are permitted until midnight, Monday to Sunday. The proposed variation seeks to add recorded music outdoors, late night refreshment outdoors, permit the supply of alcohol off the premises. These additions have been requested until midnight daily. The report initially included live music in the variation request. However, the applicant has not requested any change to the live music provision, which remains indoors only. 5 objections were submitted by local residents. Concerns were raised regarding the potential impacts on the 4 licensing objectives. The applicant clarified that although the licence permits activities until midnight, The premises typically close at 2200 hours, and they provide additional assurances that outdoor music will be limited to low-level background recorded music and will cease at 2200. Alcohol for takeaway will only be available when purchased with food, and all alcohol sales will end at 2200. Following discussions, the applicant agreed to include these assurances as conditions on the licence, and these are included in paragraph 7 of the report. As a result, one objection was withdrawn. Further clarification was also provided in response to additional queries. As detailed on supplementary documentation, members will see that there's been communication and responses from other objectors, so 4 of those objections remain. Members should note that under the Live Music Act 2012, certain conditions or timings relating to live or recorded music may be overridden. However, if the premises operate between 2300 hours, any agreed noise-related conditions will become enforceable. So no representations were received from the responsible authorities. Members are asked to consider whether to grant the application. If granted and the premises fail to comply with the licence or its conditions, a review may be requested by responsible authorities or any other parties at any time. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Tanya. Do members have any questions for Tanya at all? No, Chair.
No, Chair.
Thank you. Can I call on the applicant to address the committee then, please?
Yeah, so just to expand on what Tanya has said, our application for off license at the venue is probably twofold in terms of we are trying to offer an off license through our delivery service as well, which I've said to Tanya, we have a process in place with our delivery companies, Deliveroo, etc., that they will do age verification. Further to this as well, we will implement Challenge 25 in our downstairs takeaway and cafe area, as we do have in our restaurant at the moment. Part of this as well, in terms of our off license, is to serve our outside area under the arches, which hasn't been used for many years. Part of our plans are, which we are doing at the moment, is we're building a retro beach shop under one of the arches. We've got a retro pick and mix shop. And then we plan to build huts under the arches as well. This is all to invigorate the area around the beachfront and add a family-orientated experience to everyone, where people can enjoy the food we offer, plus enjoy a beverage. We have no intention of supplying alcohol to cause any rowdy situations or to supply to a younger audience. This is purely to a family audience, which is our demographic anyway. All of this will be controlled in our plan going forward in terms of having security on the beachfront, patrolling around the front of the arches, the takeaway and the cafe. And as I say again, it's a family orientated venue. We've got no intention with live music outside. We have no intention of having any loud music. If we do install speakers, they will just be in the 5 huts that are under the arches, and it'll just be background music for the customers that are sitting there. Thank you.
Thank you. Did you wish to address the committee at all, Mohammed?
Stand by with what Jason said. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Members, do you have any questions at all for the applicant? Councillor Hilliard.
Thank you, Chair. So just reading your letter which you sent to the objectors. So sales finish at 2200 hours. When would you actually remove the chairs and would you shut the arches up? What's your plan for the huts? Thank you.
So with the huts, we would aim to probably close them at 9 o'clock, just for reference to the 10 p.m. closing. That is only for probably 2 months of the year during the peak of summer, due to the sunlight being out later and our customers eating later as well. So the huts would be aimed to be closed at 9 o'clock to allow our staff to clean and security to remove anyone from the area. our agreement with the beachfront as well, we need to have the chairs and benches taken inside, outside our cafe, etc., before 10 p.m. anyway. So our aim would be start shutting down 9 o'clock, so to be last orders in terms of food and drink if we proceed. So everything would most likely be out by 9:30, 9:45 anyway, to allow the main restaurant to close.
Okay, and there's also mention of security when it's busy. So again, how often would you expect security to be, and an indication of the nights, and if it's just summer? Thank you.
So our busiest times are generally Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So we would have security on from 11:30 in the morning through to us closing to help out. During summer, we expect to have security every day, as the 2 months, July and August, will probably be the busiest times. Security will also float between there and the restaurant, supporting upstairs.
Okay, and obviously there was concern. Obviously, alcohol it's only allowed if food is purchased, but as some objectors have said, what measures are in place if someone wants to buy a small bag of chips but 6 bottles of wine? What proportionate sense check in effect do your staff do? Thank you.
So the policies we discussed with our management team is that we would limit it to 1 to 2 drinks with purchase of food. We've got no intention of supplying alcohol for people to just drink and get rowdy on the beachfront. As I said, with our plans outside, it's to allow our customers to have a relaxed environment where they can enjoy a drink with their food. We're not there to supply alcohol for people to have a good time on the beach.
So just lastly, again, I think there was mention that there possibly was antisocial behaviour with loud music from your establishment. Are you aware of that, or was that another establishment? Thank you.
The establishment that you're making reference to was Sunset Beach, which is located on the beachfront just to the right of Harry's. They had very loud speakers during the summers. I believe that venue is no longer there anymore. They had DJs on every day. I did make reference in a couple of the emails about that, but that does not pertain to us. We have very small speakers on our terrace, and we only offer background music.
Just one question from me, Jason. How are you proposing to dispense the alcohol? Clearly, you've mentioned a bottle of wine, but what about beers? How will you be dispensing those? Will it be bottles or cans?
So everything we dispense will be in plastic cups. We're trying to look for a biodegradable option as per our water bottles we supply now. Obviously, we wouldn't allow any glass to go on or any cans onto the beach. We don't want to cause any harm to anyone. And we have multiple bins available as well, and cleaning guys that will be on the beach, making sure everything's cleaned up around the area.
Okay, thank you for that. Any further questions? No. Questions from officers at all?
Can we just clarify the terrace, because at the moment, if they're going to use the licence, if they get it to
Sales on the terrace. Do we have a map at all, Tanya, with the application? I don't recall seeing one. Is there? Oh yes, I've got one, but it shows the establishment. It doesn't show the arches.
Location. Do you mean location map?
Well, the point of arches were mentioned. I don't think
It's in the licence plan. I'll check the page and I will let you know.
This one.
Yeah, at the bottom, the big arches. The arches to us at the left.
Ah, yes, I see. So the arches are all they're on the original drawing. So this is basically the premises, and then the arches to the left.
Okay. So you got that's them there, isn't it? Yeah. So you've got these arches here, which are currently blocked off.
Yeah.
So just to clarify, a couple of things which have been discussing. So the terrace you'll carry on using as you are now, and then how many of these arches are you going to use? Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, I think in total.
So we have 8 arches. The first 2 closest to the entrance of Harry's are going to be a beach shop, which are currently being renovated at the moment. The third one will be used as a retro pick and mix shop. Those are the ones with the doors, as you might be able to see. They've got black doors on them, or might be red, depending how old. Yeah. The ones with the gates, there's 5 of them. The plan is to take the gates out, as discussed with the beachfront, to offer a nicer aesthetic, you could say, on the beachfront. And we plan to have huts built in those, which will accommodate 8 to 10 people each, with heaters for the colder months. And then we'll take the gates out. Those will be painted red and white, sorry, to matching with our brand.
Okay, thank you for that. I think we're clear on that now, are we? Yeah. Okay. Any further questions from the officers at all? No, thank you. At this point, I would normally go through the summing up process. However, I will give you the opportunity. Is there anything else you'd like to add to your representation to the committee that you may have forgotten or omitted?
I'd just like to add that, again, we've been running for many years as a venue on the beachfront. We've had no incidents that I know of in the previous recent years. We don't intend to have any. As I say, we plan to expand on the business we have and have a better offering for an area that's not been currently used for many years, by having huts where customers can sit and enjoy our food as a family, a beach shop which will make use of, again, arches which are just standing empty, and a sweet shop and a cafe. These are all areas where, again, we want to have a family area, have a good customer base that will continue to come back to us. We don't intend to have any issues with supply of alcohol, and we hope we'll have the controls in place in our plans to make sure this won't happen, in terms of limiting supply of alcohol with off license with the food as well. We also plan to generate another 40 jobs if we open all these areas as well.
Okay, thank you for that. Just, I think we may have one point for clarification, I believe.
Sorry, I should have asked before you did that. I'm just looking at the current licence conditions, and some would need to be amended if the licence is granted, because it currently says sale of alcohol to be on sales only. But at the moment, you've got a condition there that says sale of alcohol shall be by table service. So will that be the same situation under the arches? Or are people going to go to the sort of takeaway and then come back and sit under the arches?
So the plan is we will have a fenced off area, as we would have outside the cafe, and we would have servers or waiters or waitresses serving the tables with mobile till devices where they can take payment and take orders out to them.
Okay. And sorry, again, I'm just looking at the CCTV, that the condition you've got currently for the CCTV to cover the current restaurant. Will that be covering those arches?
We have CCTV in place in that location already.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. Right, I will now conclude the hearing. At the end of the meeting, the subcommittee will adjourn in private with the legal advisor and the clerk to deliberate. The decision will be conveyed to you in writing as explained earlier. Can I just ask, are you happy to run through the appeal process?
So there will be a right of appeal to the decision that is made today. That appeal would be made to Dorset Magistrates Court. within 21 days of formal notification of today's decision, but all that information will be contained in the decision notice that you receive.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your attendance.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.